This is how to Amagi. Amagi is a fantastic battleship. One of the higher tier ships. You'll see a tier 8 Japanese. I'm really happy with this ship. She performs very well and will definitely deal out the damage. She's got a lot of hit points and a lot of armor, but you'll be able to see more of that after the video when we get into the performance specs of this thing. This is my very first battle with the Amagi ever, so I wasn't sure how to play it, how aggressive I could be. I did look over the specs, and she looked to be really well built and meant to take a lot of hits, but I still was a little bit timid after playing some other high tier ships and just got the living daylights pounded out of me. It wasn't with this ship, it was with the Minotaur and the Neptune. So what I'm going to do is, looking at the mini-map, most of my team is off to my port. So I'm going to bring my turrets around to starboard and move my rudder hard over to port and head over at about a 45-50 degree angle northwest, sorry. And
General quarters.
place support fire for the other team members. Opening minutes on battle are always a bit low and slow, so I'm going to zip up ahead a bit. You can see on the mini-map how our team is moving. Looks like the other battleships on our team had the same idea. So I put up my spotter planes so I can start doing some shooting. And once again, I've never played this ship until now. This is a replay that you're seeing. First battle. And my first shots wind up a little bit shy. Not bad. But remember that on a battleship at long range, you have horrible dispersion. Your shots are so wild that you could literally just be shooting all day and small boats are just going to sail right in between your shots. So you're going to have to do quite a bit of shooting to land your hits. You can see with 5 turrets, there's a lot you can do with this ship. If you see a mini-map, I'm headed for an island, so I'm going to turn to my port a bit, get around that island, and see what I can do for shooting while I'm turning. Okay, it looks like I got my range down. We got really good coverage in this area. With a 30-second reload time, you've really got to make these shots count. I decided to up my lead by a second. I probably should up it by 4, yeah. Alright, now we're doing some serious damage. Alright, -1, that's nice. And don't you love it when the enemy all packs up in one place? As long as your team is well grouped, you're in good shape because there's no shortage of targets. If you're all alone and they're well grouped, it's going to be a bad day. So I am taking a little bit of damage from behind. There's a cruiser back there. So with the island in the way, I decided I'd better not try to shoot at the nearer of the 2 ships. Zoom out to take a look around, and that gunfire hitting the island, that was meant for me. So I just fire 1 salvo to get my ranging, and it looks like I'm pretty good. So I'll wait for my other guns to load up. fly and I don't want to sail into a mountain, so I'm ruddering. Alright, -1. Good. Now this guy probably should have given a 10-second lead to. I only gave him about a 7-second. And you can see my shots are just barely on him. But I do make up for it. Give it a little bit longer of a lead. Island was in the way. I was hoping I'd get some shots landed. Okay, so we got a group of 3. They're not shooting at me, so I can pretty much just do a lot of damage. 1 shell, 5,400, that was great. I'm hugging an island to my left, so I can't turn out. Alright, there's another 9,100 damage. At that rate, it's going to take quite a bit of fire to put this guy down. This is why at high tiers, you definitely want to stay as a group. There's so many hit points on these ships that you have to stay as a group. I went ahead and just salvoed at this guy. Alright. So now we got somebody who's... I must be within secondary range of somebody. Seems... Oh, just over. Secondary range of him. Oh, he's actually brought his guns to bear on me. Still, the ship that I'm targeting has got lower hit points, and you always want to focus on the weak link. And that was just a lousy shot. Look at the smokestack. He's actually screeching to a halt. That's probably what threw my shots off. But I am going to get another salvo off at him. Sorry about the sound. That lousy mic. Alright. Citadel hit, 3 hits, wiped him out. So as you can see that when you get close, say 9 kilometers, the dispersion shrinks quite a bit and you can really start laying in some serious damage. Now he's very well angled against me, tail on. Not much I can do about that. When they're tail on like that, you want to fire high explosive, but at 30-second reload you don't really have time to switch between one ammo or another. You gotta make do with what you got. Besides, he's almost broadside on now. That was about 5,000 damage. Gonna have to turn a little more. And our team has wiped out the last cruiser, so this is the last battleship. Last enemy. And he's almost gone. He's gone. Well, that was a good battle. You can see the Amagi is quite a capable ship. Only did 1,700 experience, 77,000 damage. 4 citadels though, sunk 3. 3rd best on the team for points. You can see how I did against the various ships. 5 hits and 7,000, 2 hits and 7,400. The ship, the Amagi here is a quite capable battleship. Just one little downside to her that you're about to see. Take a look at my money. Silver, Actually lost money on that battle. Imagine if I had taken more damage. When you're in the high tiers like this, you're going to start losing money. Even when you do halfway decent. Alright, let's take a closer look at the numbers on this ship. Under armor, you can see from the layering there, her citadel is at or below the water line and distinctly within the confines of the width of the ship, which is really outstanding and good armor, which makes this ship very difficult to citadel. On top of that, you can see that she's got an armor belt 254 millimeters and then a deck of 32 millimeters. That's on top of her citadel armor. Then she's got a superstructure armor of just 19, but it does help. And then wrapped all around an additional 25 millimeters of deck plating. So she has really got a lot of armor. Now take a look at her guns. Armored to the hilt. Absolutely armored to the hilt. 279, 280 with the faces of 458. That's an insane amount of armor. That's why she can take so many hits. Her artillery, you can see she's got a reload time of 30 seconds. Now that is buffed. Rudder rotation time of 36 seconds. That's also buffed because I'm running 20% rudder reduction time. Maximum dispersion is 211 meters, but that also is buffed. I'm running a 7% dispersion reduction in my modules. And you can see what her high explosive damage can do. That's not much compared to her armor piercing, but a 30% chance of setting fire on target is respectable. And her firing range is 19.9 kilometers with her detectability range at 15.6. Now granted, that's not shooting. If you start shooting, your detectability goes way up. Her secondary armaments, reload time of 6 seconds with a range of 5.3 kilometers. Not much damage done, but she's got 8 turrets, each with 2 guns, which is pretty good. And that's not all she's got for secondary armaments. Her bigger secondary armaments are the 140 millimeters, which is almost like having a destroyer strapped onto your port side and a destroyer strapped onto your starboard side, which is really good, except that the range isn't good. 440 kilometers, 5.3, it should be a bit more. So she can put out the fire, especially if you get into secondary range. Her AA, as you can see, is very good. 127 millimeters, and then a whole bunch of 25 millimeters. A whole bunch of 25. So when enemy aircraft get to within 3 miles of you, they're going to be chopped up. Maximum speed is 30 knots, but that's buffed, and the rudder shift, of course, is buffed at 13.9. That's pretty good. She still doesn't turn so well. Under modules, you can see what I did there. I went for a bigger engine. Without that bigger engine, you're only going to do 28.1 knots, and of course I went with the fire control system, which upped her range. And then I went, of course, with the sea hull. The stock hull is, as you can see, minus 7,500, it looks like, 7,300. I can't really see it on my screen, but that's quite a few hits, as well as using some secondary guns and a lot of AA. So definitely go for the upgraded hull. For her upgrades, you can see I went with minus 10% detectability. If they can't see you, maybe you can last a few more seconds before they do, and you can get salvo off before they do. And then of course there's the rudder shift. And then I went with, after that, the damage mod, minus 5% to the risk of fire and minus 3% to flooding damage. I went with that one because I knew that I'd be lit on fire. A ship this big, somebody is going to be firing high explosive at me, probably several ships, and you're going to want that fire out, because that will hurt you. And then went with aiming system mod. Doesn't really do much for secondaries, a little bit of help for torpedoes, but minus 7% to dispersion, that's going to help because you're usually firing at longer ranges. And even with that 7% dispersion, I still had a dispersion of 211 meters. That's over 600 feet, people. And a city block is 500 feet. Gives you an idea of how much dispersion this thing has. And finally, I went with Auxiliary Armaments Mod 1. That'll give my secondary battery 100% survivability, and you're going to want it. If you get in close, you're going to need those secondaries to save you. They will, because your turret rotation is so slow. Anybody getting in close to you, you cannot bring your main guns to bear. They're just going to be moving too slowly. And of course, AA is great because they're going to be sending planes against you. And if they all get shot down early on, then you don't have to worry about them. So that is the Amagi. A really beautiful ship to look at, too. That's it. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and have fun.